It might have been the case that it is totally evident that the only thing that can be seen under the account when it comes to this type of product, which I have ordered time and again to get one, is the one that I have requested the refunds for those, right? Those are the only items that can be seen on the account. But when it comes to the items which never ever were delivered, but they supposedly were paid, there's a possibility that PayPal, which is the same company as eBay, have never ever even accepted the payment from me. Okay, so all they have to do is basically pop the picture to me as if they did. If there was a transaction for this item, you can see one under the summary when you go maybe for a few days, and then what they do, the only thing they do is they remove the listing. And in your head is you're thinking about that. It's coming. The item is coming. It's coming. You file the return. You file the money return request, and basically that's all there is. There might be no transaction that could possibly be traced anywhere. So this is the second method on how they might have done these things.
I know for a fact, however, there were about 4 purchases solid, which I have made, and for which I have waited like an idiot for like over 2 months, like for every one of those items to come. And it was really, really painful because you order this stuff and this stuff never ever comes. And you're just waiting and waiting and waiting like an idiot, and the stuff just never ever comes. Not a good thing. Good stuff, very useful, and just as I was promised under MK Ultra, any of the stuff like this will just not come to you. That pretty much means that when you're destroying items to an individual, private items, purchases, is that you are not only damaging him, but you're also damaging Chinese state. You're damaging eBay. You're damaging, you're disallowing a citizen rights, mail rights, mailing, right? The postage, post rights and stuff like this. That's very brutal.
Regarding the pinhole cameras, that's a little bit bigger issue than, for me, than what, I don't know, somebody would, why this and that. I'm going to tell you something. This is very, very efficient way of catching people. If they're stalking you or somebody is doing like this, stuff to you, because you can just drop things and you can quite do some serious stuff. I highly recommend them. I never ever got a single one of them, but the police officers that were involved in MK Ultra, they alone gesture me on how they have used them, even for the professional operations. I'm not going to go into it, who did this, gesture me and stuff like this. This is a very good item. The first thing I did when I came from Belarus, when I got a hold of the money here a little bit, I insisted on obtaining, and this is when I already started purchasing these pinhole cameras. And I did purchase at least 4 of those. I placed an order. I paid for those items. Those items never ever arrived and don't even appear anywhere on eBay anymore in a summary, or cannot be seen under the PayPal, not even through on my bank statements. Okay, so that probably, most likely, that was the case. The case was that items like this, they would just have them sit as if they were shipped to me or whatever, when in reality either was a PayPal and eBay. To tell you the truth, I did not go and check PayPal whether the transactions were done or not, but PayPal and eBay, this is the same company. Even if you don't check the bank statements and stuff like this and see that these purchases are actually completed and keep those statements with you and stuff, it's kind of difficult to even prove anything like this, because that's all it takes is for them to actually not complete a transaction. When you do the money return request, the only thing they do is they say that the money was returned back to you. That's about it. You don't actually have any proofs. there was all kinds of stuff that happened. But what I believe is that when it comes to these pinhole cameras, especially because under MK Ultra they gesture me that this is the #1 product to go for. Police alone have suggested me how efficient those are. It might have been, I don't know, maybe it was the police that police of course was involved in this, but you know, why those cameras never came, how, and this and that through the eBay already. I don't even know if it would have anything to do with a neighbor in respect to those cameras. You might have only with the PayPal, eBay. But it might also be the case with something else. That's difficult to guess. The only thing is I can give you an account about that kind of stuff. Not even today. Today is May the 4th, 2018. Americans, suggested all kinds of stuff. You're just gonna buy this, and you're gonna get him, and you're gonna do this, and it's gonna be this and that, and tra la 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 la. Well, when you are traced wherever you go, when they tell you, Borut Pahor, they took me with the Miroslav Berger to the local post office here and have suggested me, even if you rent your postal box, it's going to be totally indifferent as with what's happening, whatever is delivered to your home. You got absolutely no chance. Don't even go into it, basically. Okay? So one thing is, it's easy for you to say, get this, get that, tra la 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 la. And then another one is when somebody else get your mail before you get one and decides based on whatever should be delivered to you, whether that thing should be delivered to you or not. This is just two totally different things, and then there's a whole bunch of other issues. So there's just stuff that you have to make a decision. What is it you want to body yourself? What do you want to give priority to when you do this stuff, okay? So I did very well. I have well coordinated and well positioned, well balanced issues, political issues and personal issues.
Came broken, destroyed. Before I even got one, this thing already was destroyed. Came destroyed. Just as Aleš Berger have promised me, it would play a radio, but it would never ever record. Well, the thing was that I did purchase this for the purpose of audio recording, not to play myself a radio or SD card. I was not interested in any of that stuff. Not really sure about this one, whether one of this was cancelled, the other one, not really sure. Yeah, this one was cancelled, and this one was purchased, and then this is good stuff, and then you had this one here. Out of 3 of this that I bought it, 2 are working, but I want you to pay attention to my words. Items like this typically would work to me like almost forever, because what I do is I plug this in the wall, and that's all that is, and then I'm using basically. But this thing's stopped working like within a week.
When it comes to multiple USB ports, stuff that you see right there, totally useless. It became totally useless. I could not connect not even external hard drive. It's taking about 2-3 hours to get photos transferred from Androids and videos to the laptop and stuff like this. 3.0 USB on a laptop started to work once I moved up here. That's about since 2 months ago. And Mitya Weber made sure that, I have no idea how, but what he made sure about, I have actually really no idea how Mr. Mitya Weber, this is a doctor of science accredited from university in electroengineering, whatever. How he did accomplish this, I don't know, but I kind of assume that the genius, what he did is that he took a chisel and like a small hammer, and what he did is, I guess, that he smashed this thing here, the connection, the USB connection, because this is another issue with this computer, that if you move this like this, yeah, let's do it again. Now the driver is accepted, it's installed, and as you move on, a driver uninstalls itself. Okay, so I imagine that the genius, what he managed to accomplish, because this is a very, very highly qualified scientist, I tell you. I think that he really, I'm not even being sarcastic. Seriously, because this is the science. The guy has got a very, very strong background, a science background. This individual is very, very qualified. I mean, if you would take like a third, fourth grader and you would tell him actually, you would give him a device and tell him how to put this thing together, and probably the difference would not be very much. Seriously, I'm not even kidding about this. So he did manage to even accomplish here that, that driver would uninstall itself as you move this thing here. If there is like any option that I would go and actually accidentally, that would be me, that would push this, that would crash into it. No, because my name is not Mitya Weber. I'm not a retard. I'm not an idiot like he is. He is an animal, but I'm not an animal. This is what it is. And then there is another thing here. This is a port 3.0. This one here did not even work until like 2 months ago. Now all of a sudden it started to work. So how this and that, I think this had to do with totally other issues. I think it might have even had to do something with this thing here. I am going to explain to you why I have used deliberately the term animal. I use the term animal because I was considered as an animal. When I came back in 2006, especially because of this individual who ruined my computers, ruined my equipment, subjected me to MK Ultra, to torture. The best about MK Ultra for me was humiliation. He loved that part more than anybody, to humiliate me, to compare me with an animal, to compare me with I'm not going to say with somebody who is mentally retarded, but basically equal me with someone who will 100% be mentally retarded, have addressed me under MK Ultra as mentally retarded. In 2006, when I turned back to Slovenia from US, the individual addressed me like, wanted to look like educated and have even used words that you would use if you would want to insult somebody, if you just would, want to. It's really difficult to explain. You just have to go over my blogs. Called me a dummy, called me stupid, called me retarded. I was basically everything except the human being. This is something I was not. And it was the same thing with my niece. And so, when I remind myself of MK Ultra, what went on under MK Ultra, how he treated me with the violence, how he subjected me, how he humiliated me, how he pursued me as, when everything, he knew about how employment is going to be denied, how everything is going to be denied, and he really relied on that heavily. But you're not going to be able to do this. This was his specialty. You're going to complain here and it's not going to be nothing. You're going to do this and it's going to be nothing. You're going to do this, it's going to be nothing. And it's going to be this, it's going to be nothing. The guy prognosed me about maybe 10,000 failures. He came up like with a 10,000 failures of how I am not going to succeed in absolutely anything. Everything is going to be like this, it's going to be like this and this and this and that. But you will not do this, but you will not do that, and so on and so on and so forth. That's why I have used the word idiot, because the idiot actually believed that I would come to the stage. It's exactly the opposite of what he have anticipated have happened. He anticipated I would come to the stage when everybody would just walk over me. Everybody would address to me as an idiot, as an animal, as see me as a mental retard individual whom just you can do basically anything with. My mother, they instilled in my mother the personality does not have 8 grades of elementary school, if she does have. Started to behave with a patronizing attitude, like she's the one, she's knowledgeable, she knows about it, she's responsible, and treating me in real time like a mentally sick, together with psychiatrists who have designed this kind of game, who have designed the game of violence and brutality, about even this part about which I am talking about. And so you would have my mama, they would come here, or when she came to the hospital, and would basically view me like she understands that there are mentally retarded people and I am just her son. And so, you know, things like this basically happen to the people, and as a good mother, she actually accepts that. You folks have no idea what kind of violent, brutal game I have gone through. You have no idea what kind of emotional, psychological abuse I was subjected to. And as much as these people have anticipated on how they're going to walk over me, you see, today I call individual an animal. And as much as he anticipated on how his resume as a doctoral degree in science, in electroengineering, actually is going to be an advertisement, like kind of free advertisement over the internet for him, that's going to really turn into a total disaster for him, I believe, because the job, well, unless there are employers out there that are really looking, that are searching for an individual whom they could entrust to have their company basically destroyed, eaten out. Individual got involved into corruption, into criminality. There was a minister here in Slovenia, his schoolmate indeed, Omerzel. His name is Omerzel. And together, as he was involved in this case, this was unbelievable. When they brought me here, when Americans brought me here, when I came with them here, this was unbelievable. I was addressed as a traitor, as a no good person. But if you would see the people that came to this house here from Slovenia, even from Serbia, people who came to this house basically came close to the bucket from which pigs eat, because you have all these politicians from Western Europe, and you had also business people, and they would just, how can I say, in Slovenian language we say grabstise, that means to just tear, pull, try to just grab anything that possibly could be grabbed. In his case, he was desperate, like totally voracious, like he wanted to get some kind of technology licenses for American technology, for something like this, and he got them. They gave him, they assisted these people just because they came in this house through to me to see me. They met these people and they got this technology. The next thing you see, the guy became a minister in Slovenia, and he appointed this individual, this Mitja Weber, as a director. This company was involved in total criminality. The next thing you see, first they got this technology. The next thing they see, he used his position, minister position, to rip the state. Corruption, criminality with one word. So if you're looking for a real criminal, like a very dangerous terrorist, really dangerous, abusive, criminal. What can I say? His name is Mitja Weber. He is a doctor in science, in electrical engineering, and he now is working as a teacher here in Šolski Center Novo Mesto. He is a very highly, I can recommend him. You can see his resume is very impressive. He did some work on robotic stuff and stuff like this, moving, I don't know, robotic stuff like this, that he actually even used to, but he believed that he would brain F with me in respect to that kind of stuff, that he actually developed something new. They even gave him a reward. They gave him some kind of reward because he became some kind of bonus. I don't know how much money he got. Got involved in this European projects. They start to push him forward, but I see that things didn't really fall into place, did not work out. But if you're looking for somebody like this, somebody with that type of element in him, then I'll tell you that this is the perfect individual. But I think he's going to be washing toilets in a prison here not too far very soon. And he's going to do that for free. So as well as mine, you may want to wait a little bit and offer him once you get out of that place, because that place is guaranteed to him. You don't really have to be a genius to go and to, since I'm an animal, that's how he saw me. An animal who remembers, that was taught in sometimes, I don't know, 2000 maybe even. 2001, 2002, I don't know. That if you scratch the coating, I don't know, he gestured that for the monitor, he gestured that for the laptop, coating of, it might be where the power supply is for the laptop, where the laptop is charging or something like this. Maybe circuit board, I have no idea what did he scratch and this, what he genius done. If you want to learn about how to do this, that kind of stuff, this is what basically really sixth graders of elementary school probably see when they come home from the school, and they go and they they type that kind of stuff, because it's really a million things that you can do to computer if you just have time. And if you want to be if you want to measure the radiation, you actually don't even have to be Einstein. I'm going to tell you the truth. You don't have to be Einstein. All you got to do is you got to buy yourself, you got to purchase a meter, what is it, radio frequency radiation or whatever radiation it is, and that's all there is. That kind of stuff. He was so impressed with ability to actually implant stuff with Bluetooth transmitters, radio transmitters. That was so fascinating to him, and he was so proud. He bragged about that even on 100 meters that you can get the information about what individual is doing on a computer and stuff like this. I'm telling you, the guy's so intelligent that I think the 8th graders, folks that have time to play with this, all you got to do is you got to go to the YouTube, and you're going to find probably a few million videos on these subjects, basically unlimited. Okay, so if this is the type of individual you're looking for, this I highly recommend you. I really do. By the way, we're not going to get into this. But basically, the biggest issue is right here. Mr. Mitya Weber, that's my niece's husband, was very, very honest when he mentioned me on how, his schoolmate, Omerzel, this dude, like I said, came here in this house, got the license, got the technology from Americans. They gave it to him so he could earn the money with that special, because when you get the license, basically you have some sort of monopoly on the market. If you get the license for Sony, let's say in Italy, you're the one, the only one who had the right to redistribute, let's say, Sony technology or something like this. Okay, I'm just giving you an example. I don't precisely know what type of license for technology this individual got, but he got one. The next thing you see, he became a minister, and once he became a minister, he have used his own company, basically technology that he got, to boost his business. And this individual, Mitya Weber, my niece's husband, was appointed, look at this, even as a director of this company. So as much as the Mitya Weber, of course, is not honest, I'm just being sarcastic about it. He's a liar. He is exactly what I said he is. A violent thug is what it is. As much as he mentioned to me, he mentioned to me like, I am gonna help you. He really didn't have to worry about it, helping me out, because his boss, his owner of the company, you see, owner of the company, the minister Omerzel, this minister, he got into the corruption issues. He got into serious problems. He became known as a criminal minister. And so he did not have to bother about, giving me that kind of information, because, it's right here. It's everywhere in the newspapers. So you don't have to be really a genius to know who this individual really is, and so on. And you can see the gangster right here. This is the gangster Omerzel. This one, his schoolmate became actually even a minister, and this is how things went on. And this is the science and technology and I don't know what. And the people like this can do the things are guilty because they didn't stop it. Because when you find yourself under the threat, under the will of the corruption, of the total criminality of the top people that lead the state, when the violence and brutality is imposed on you, when they melt you down like this, criminals like this, it's actually your fault that you did not stop, that you did not prevent. It's your fault when they put your social security number inside a computer and blacklist you, blackball you from employment, and also, of course, what otherwise would be, if you want, social support, unemployment support. You see, this is your fault. This is the kind of logic that these people have and operate based on. I am going to tell you something about the word idiot, a little bit more about, and the word retard and dummy and stuff like this. I want to make myself really clear about these issues. Somebody's not going to draw the wrong conclusions on these things. There are three things in this world, okay? Starting with the people who have mental problems. For whatever reason, they might be born with them. Whatever might be the case, people like this, the only thing I can say is I gladly volunteer myself to help them, to assist them, to do as much as good as possible for them that is in this world. Because these people deserve more than just compassion. These people deserve help, the will, somebody to give them so they can go on with their lives and they get the maximum out of their lives, just like everybody else is entitled to. Then you have a second category of the people. These are the criminals. These are the criminals. Those are the people that I call idiots, dummies, thugs, and etc., etc. Those are the kind of people that believe that actually they have the right to use the state authorities or special privileges or wherever it is out there, corruption, criminality, on average, I would say normal people, by subjecting them to the violence, to oppression, which basically lowers abilities of the normal people, humiliates them on the level of people that are just let's say are experiencing mental problems, mental issues, people that are just like I said, maybe mentally handicapped or something like this. So you got three categories. First category that definitely deserves compassion, help, assistance, everything that possibly can be done for them so they can feel part of the society. Then you have that second category that is right on the top oftentimes. Those are the people that are misusing their state authorities, their privileges, and so on, against that let's say, middle biggest bracket normal people. It is actually a little bit more, because this the stuff that I talk about, you're not going to find anywhere on the internet. You're not going to even find one on the books, because it's the stuff nobody wants to talk about. They're not only misusing the state authorities, the special permissions, privileges and stuff. They are also misusing something else. They are actually misusing issues of mentally disadvantaged people. You know, people who have severe problems with just what you consider as a normal, easy tasks, let's say, to go on in their lives. They are actually misusing also those kind of issues with idea, with intention, with sole intention to hurt normal people. So we are definitely dealing here with a little bit more than just someone misusing special state authorities, privileges and stuff like this. We are talking about very, very special kind of people. I see them as predators. And I see that kind of attitude as a predator attitude, like sexual, pedophile type of predatorial attitude, because they do it because they can. And if they can, they do it even more. And they see their victims as guilty because they cannot defend themselves. Pretty much, they see themselves as allowed, as authorized to do that stuff. Interesting enough, no psychologist, psychiatrist really talks about that. That maybe is a new topic for you guys. Maybe you want to start writing about this kind of things and associate the reality. It's like in a German concentration camps when you have those SS neo-Nazi officers. It was for them the normal stuff they did to the people that inside of those concentration camps, because people could not defend themselves. So it was the righteous thing to do in their eyes. They felt good about it. They felt good about doing the stuff they did. And the only thing that have happened is they become, with more violence they have done, they became even more and more radical, basically more and more encouraged, more and more perverted, because this is that magic circle I'm talking about.
The cables, I don't know the expression for that, but cable I would get within the day or two. The cable, it's like it's like a little hooks that hold cable in place once you plug one into appliance, whatever. All that stuff would be just somehow destroyed. It would just disappear. It would be like, and it's exactly what I was promised by my niece's husband, if ever the case would be. It would be just like, I think that stuff like this happens when you use one for many, many years. I don't know how the hell would this happen, like within like the next day or within 2 days or something like this. Crazy. At this point in time, I believe, already downstairs. And whenever I go downstairs, whenever I go out of that room, I am relying on a very, very cheap dollar magnetic door alarm, which I have totally forgotten what they have promised me they would do with relay switches inside of those door alarms. They did have something to dismantle basically them, and walked inside. As I ate upstairs, these people inside of my room eating downstairs, I'm just saying, they did not literally eat, but I'm just saying basically they could stay like half an hour without me even knowing what went on and stuff like this. I was basically totally in a totally wrong, I made a very wrong assumption, and the only thing that was happening is things just started to fall apart. Everything fall apart. Everything new I bought fall apart. So I bought some more basically. This I would not recommend. This is not really, I would suggest, I don't know how many times this is Zoom. That was not precisely the truth. This is actually worse than the cheap optical zoom, whatever. These are the alarms I have relied on. I had already from before from the US. One time these alarms saved my ass. Really saved my ass in Minneapolis when in 2000 and probably already 9, yeah. They have entered my apartment in Minneapolis, and they wanted to do MK Ultra again. and they already were inside of the apartment, and that thing just went off. And I got up, and it was running. They ran away. So I kind of assumed that this kind of stuff actually would be a good stuff. Truth, however, is that I never ever have used any of this before. Have never used any of this before, and this was the first time, and it just might have been an element of surprise for these people because they were used to basically walk, into my place. So I bought some more here. This thing here never ever traveled for a very long time. Once it arrived, it was instead a very, very old backpack. Same company, same thing, but the backpack that already was discontinued. This backpack not only was only discontinued, this backpack also was chopped. It was cut, chopped, and it was exactly what I was promised the case would be under MK Ultra. I have actually met an individual, the delivery boy, who promised me, together with Slovenian President Borut Pahor, what my case is going to be in the future. Make no mistake, it exactly did happen. I know individual. I know how individual looks. I know where he is from. I know where. Not gonna say where, I know where he lives, but the guy is from the Maribor, and he lives here in Novo Mesto, I believe. I know the individual because individual even stalked me when I went for a walk and stuff like that, so I definitely know individual, and from MK Ultra and from reality. He was the one who delivered, by the way, this backpack. Good stuff, good stuff. There you go. Good stuff, all good stuff. Problems. I cannot, my computer, by the way, I still have not finished that video about, what was it, March 31st? There's just so much crap that went on that same day. Now, this crap, almost identical to that, was what went on downstairs for about 6 months. I mean, I could not even get videos, photos, out of my SD cards to computer. And so what I do is now I'm using SD adapters, and then this micro adapter readers. SD card reader if you want. And I'm excited at this point because you can stick this into the USB, and my God, they're not gonna be, I'm gonna do this and I'm not gonna have a problem and so on and so forth. I did have the problem because the dude started to destroy my SD cards. That was the next step. So it always was like systematically done. It started with this, and then it just went to worse and worse and worse and worse. Still, I mean, no place to complain to. Keep in mind, they have rated me as a paranoid schizophrenic, so they could do stuff like this. So the police is not there for you. The police is out there to, well, for you to come to complain about the stuff like this and take you away, basically. These are your rights. This is what the police is now for. Police used to protect criminals, thuggery, basically. So you can see now how many I bought here. I bought many. I bought many of this. This is another cable I have purchased. None of this really cables worked. Probably because they're bad quality. I'm not saying that this is that this was done something to it. This is not what I'm saying. None of these cables really worked for what I needed. Yeah, back to my headphones. As I suggested, all my headphones, were destroyed. I pretty much didn't have any headphones left, really. So what I did was, I never was really buying from eBay either very much. Here and there, maybe some item, but other I have bought in the stores. That's when I still had the money. Then I didn't have the money. Then I was just really forced to buy this on the internet. Good stuff. I bought this. Worked very well. All this stuff. Good stuff. Look, the bottom line is the stuff like this, a single headphones like this. Stuff like this can work to me. I have no idea how long this stuff can work, but I estimate I could use this. At least I'm going to say probably 2 years or something like this. I wouldn't have any problems with it. I am, how can I say, mechanical engineering by profession. I am not clumsy. I'm exactly the opposite from the clumsy. I got few extra kilos, but I am everything but clumsy. Stuff like this can work to me. I have no idea how long this can work to the people that can take the maximal care of it. I'm not exaggerating with the stuff. I treat one, I'm gonna say in a logical way as much as possible. I'm not trying to go in a crazy, in extreme, how can I say, care, something like this. I do not. I'm just trying to get value out of everything, out of money, out of time, and so on and so forth. But the stuff like this will last to me, I don't know, as long as you want. The problem is that the Sony headphones and stuff like this, everything broke inside of this room. I mean, and you're talking about the new stuff. Sony's not even so bad. By the way, all of these headphones that I bought, and I bought quite a few of them because I became like a little bit, you know, I said to myself, wow, so cheap, and so let's just get it, because if you go to the store, one of these costs you at least $10, 10 euros. And so I bought quite a few of this, and they're really cheap. This is a good stuff. I recommend all this stuff. This, by the way, I have used for a large backpack. You can put this inside of the backpack, in a rucksack, in a big backpack, and you have actually organizer inside of the backpack. Very nice stuff, smart thing to do. This we already have discussed, and so on, and we go next. A lot of problems. Folks, I couldn't transfer photos, videos onto the computer. We are still in 2017. Finally, this camera, this here, yeah, this thing really did came. This thing did came, but this is useless, really. It would be very hard to catch somebody that is professional, somebody that was subcontracted, trained by the state on how to, use, all sorts of surveillance equipment, on how to actually be monitored by the micro cameras and try to set somebody with a garbage like this. I guarantee you're not going to have any success. And that's why I didn't use any of this, because it didn't make no sense whatsoever. Whenever I would call, whatever I would call, whether it was in respect to computer issues, whether it was if I tried to contact government agencies or something like this, my telephones were repeatedly cut. It was like somebody cut me, and it did. Whenever I was trying to do. After a while, then I was allowed to reach those numbers and so on. Believe me, I got a feeling, like a total feeling of the big brother around me, like watching everything. And the stuff the police promised me, the stuff that made me do, like search, they forced me under MK Ultra to search house for micro cameras and stuff like this. Netanyahu actually had micro camera that he demonstrated me once in this very house. It was, I can tell you, it was in a living room. There was a picture, Egyptian picture. By the way, Netanyahu loves Egyptian culture, by the way. He loves Middle Eastern culture. Not only Jewish, but he is well, seemed to be well-educated man in history and, all kinds of art issues and so on. And he did have one beautiful picture with him one time from Egypt, in which micro camera was inside. That picture was later on given to Dr. Kot, our neighbor. I know everything. I totally remember everything. This here I have purchased to play with. I was just trying to remove the lens and stuff like this, turn this myself into infrared cameras. So all I tried to do was remove infrared filter from it. This stuff here I have purchased. I purchased at least 2 of this. Never got any of this. Never received any of this. 2, if not even 3 of this I have ordered. Never received a single one of them. None of this also appears on my either PayPal or bank statements.
For one of those cameras, actually, money was even stolen from me. Camera never was delivered. I have no idea. Maybe neighbor has one. Have no clue.
Cables. Regarding the cables, funny. USB, big problem. Multiple port USBs would not work. What you try to next is, you try to buy these cables and try to somehow, try to do anything so you can transfer from your Androids, from your the hard drive. Here in this case, we're talking about a hard drive, the information, because basically, computer was totally crippled. I have recorded I know how many hours. I was cooking myself downstairs, and then you have these people using anywhere from even acoustic torture, but definitely was used microwaving, ultrasound, and X-ray. 4 hours a day sleep maybe, and sometimes maybe more sound in ears, like a pressure sound. I don't actually have the words to describe. All this stuff good. I did not really need any of this, but I did purchase some other stuff for some other stuff. This is good stuff, all good stuff. There was some play with the batteries, with this type of batteries, but this is the video that I have to reserve for something else. At this time I also realized that the whole scenario, I started to remind myself what went on between the psychiatrist and the neighbor. Because well, this is a different, separate issue about the batteries. And it basically did remind me of somebody, one psychiatrist who also was involved in this stuff. And, you know, they tried all kind of scenarios to just... now imagine that whatever you leave inside of the room is destroyed by the time... I'm not going to say everything, but, you know, little by little, piece by piece, piece by piece. You go to the restroom, you come back, and it's destroyed something. And something that usually... whether it was a pen that you had next to the computer that you used, something simply that would let you know immediately that it was done within your absence. So it was really, really, really trying to drive me insane with this stuff. Now, in respect to the adapter number 1, which I have purchased after the original charger adapter was destroyed, only that I could not connect one to... I could not connect one to the... I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think definitely not to the Hewlett-Packard. But I did bought some of this as a spare because I believe also... I'm not really sure I have a special video about this, but it's very possible that even this thing here, the plug-in, I have recorded this. Even the plug-in for e-machines now disappeared for the from the charger. So here is what I'm doing. I'm wasting money now on these things I'm trying to make up. Ensure that if he cuts me also, if he destroys me from Hewlett-Packard, that I can use this thing for the Hewlett-Packard. Keys, this here, latch, totally ridiculous. This is the stuff that he got before I got. Didn't make any sense to use one to begin with. This is the stuff I bought for the children. And the keys, the same thing with the keys. Otherwise, I believe they would be a very good keys. I do not know, however, how it happened that 4 times when I moved upstairs and I changed the lock, all the keys disappeared from the old lock. All of them. 5 keys disappeared. Yesterday, when I was cleaning the room, and I wasn't cleaning the room, I was cleaning something, but I have definitely, that's the first place, that's basically where I keep the keys for the lock. 2 other keys have had appeared back, and as you know, even the original key disappeared one time from this lock. So, are they doing this? Were they doing this stuff? Yes, absolutely they did. 4 times after I changed that lock, because there was no keys, right? What are you going to do now? What you do is you change the lock. And once you change the lock, then the keys come back. 4 times this lock, when this lock was, new lock was placed in place, I locked myself within like, I don't know if it was not within the week or 2, 4 times the door was unlocked in the morning when I woke up. 4 times. How this is done, I have no clue. It's done, and they can do it. Batteries. Batteries was like all money for nothing, because these batteries I have purchased for the watches that did not function. There might be other watches that I have purchased too, but those watches might not be listed. In fact, they sure are, because I requested the money returned for like, I think 2 watches, because 2 watches stopped working. So we're talking about, I don't know how many watches I have purchased. From beginning, I didn't know. From beginning, I even started to think maybe, you know, maybe it's this people doing something, you know, they really sending watches like this, or they playing something like this. You know, then I realized that this is really just a neighbor. Then I no longer have even requested the money for the stuff that was broken. Watches, this batteries here, if you go to this guy who used to sell these watches, very, very high, very cheap, and very good quality for the price. By the way, no watch worked when I did inserted this batteries inside. Individual had promised me under MK Ultra he would use a taser to destroy and batteries and everything else. But there might be totally other methods that can be used to deplete batteries. All these cables, all good, still work, nice. Mouses, that I had a fair share of problem. I'm not really sure. Was there something in them or not? Unfortunately, I did not investigate immediately, but I did once I made my comeback here inside of this room. I opened them, and the only thing I did basically so far is I took some photos of it, but I don't really think there's anything inside. I think what was wrong and what was still the problem was either inside of this computer, or might have been, like I was told, suggested also the case would be with the internet cable, that they would give something inside of the internet cable. I have no clue. I don't know. Travel organizer, this is all good stuff. Oh yeah, this stuff here, I don't know how much you remember, but my feet already bleeded for I don't know how long. I had wounds, too many to count. The pain was unimaginable because what my mother did, something with a rust remover, was just something incredible, you know, that she would go and...
What's very important to declare in respect to my wounds and my feet, which went as far as basically making me disabled to even walk. I was not capable to walk because it was nothing else than cuts, wounds, deep, extremely painful, and stuff went on, I don't know for how long, since I came from the Belarus, basically. So that is the portion of, when it comes to sound, high pressure sound, that mom have contributed. She basically have disabled me from going for a walk, which is quite a big deal if you manage to do this to individual that is parallel to all this, exposed to the heavy microwaving and all kinds of sorts of other methods. Now under MK Ultra they have suggested me that it would be a microwave gun that would repeatedly open my wounds on feet, which were caused by the softener, because she would not rinse softener from the socks, and she also would go and spray my socks with a rust remover. You know, a rust remover they use to clean the barbecue, maybe even for the car rims and stuff like this is what she would do. Then what she would do is she would do something else that I did not suspect at all would happen. She went ahead, it became also clear that did not only spray the socks, but have also cleaned the shower with that type of liquid. And boy, I never used anything when under the shower, when washing myself, ever, any kind of protection, any kind of shoes or anything, because this is at home. I just jumped under the shower and shower myself. So now that might be then another attribute that have contributed to more painful experience when it came to those wounds that simply would not heal. I mean, you would go, you would wash your feet, I would leave in a bucket of the water my feet like for half an hour. So yeah, this chemicals would go out of the skin. I would neutralize everything. Nothing would help till I did realize that she sprayed socks. And I was told about this stuff is gonna be done. I did not really suspect she would even go and spray the shower area, the bathtub area with a rust remover liquid. That was just crazy, insane. Pain, yeah, unimaginable to explain. It went like me tolerating this stuff for I don't know how many months. You were able to see on the videos to the point that you know, I really didn't know what was going on anymore, because you know, when I went to sleep and you take you wash yourself, you put fresh socks on, and the only thing that you feel actually is like if it's something burning you more and more and more and more. Oh, that's just that's just a wow. I mean, and you don't know actually where it's coming from because you already are washing your own socks. And then she played also with detergent she used. I don't know what kind of detergent. Whatever I have left on the videos, you can see stuff like that. So yeah, parallel to microwaving and all that kind of stuff, you can actually cause some serious health issues. which they would, of course, use gesture that's normal because you didn't go for a walk and stuff like this, something like this. There is no microwaving, there was no x-ray. This is what they have in their scenario, and so on. Fact of the matter is that this is the stuff they have talked under MK Ultra, and fact of the matter is that those wounds were real. This is not something I would inflict myself, that I would do something to myself, but it really was all well calculated.
Even sprayed my socks, and from the beginning what she did was she would not even rinse from the socks, softener, and stuff like this, till it was actually already totally too late. And then a rust remover, that stuff was so nasty that at this point in time I have feet bleeding, I am microwaved. Not a pleasant situation at all. This here I bought because my telephones did not have EMF detector inside, and so I did purchase this thing. This thing was not very useful, but it appears to me for some reason that also was not so bad, because once I came upstairs, this thing disappeared.
Well, practically everything I was told that an MK Ultra would happen, it did happen. As soon as I got up here, this thing was gone. I don't care if, this thing was up here with me, and, they can say whatever they want to say. That's basically all I got to say. I'm not going to be arguing, with somebody at the total nonsense, basically what they have to say when I have too many proofs about what went on. Why did this stuff disappear? I don't even know, look, if this thing could possibly detect microwaving. I have no clue. If this can do stuff like this, I don't really know. It was not I don't know what, but maybe it would, maybe I have no clue. Stuff which I received later on in respect to electromagnetic radiation, frequency radiation detection, special detectors that can point out exactly the amount of radiation. They do not point out, number one, the temperature, the real temperature that is inside of the room or outside of the house. And for those, by the way, it traveled 17 days from Amsterdam to Slovenia and about 7-8 days from China to Amsterdam, stuff like this. And went, instead of to Slovenia, went to the other side of the Europe, to Estonia and things like that, according to my neighbor, let's say, because that's what the sticker suggested, and so on and so forth. But it's also the stuff I was told on MK Ultra the case would be, and they have also suggested on MK Ultra that they would modify this detectors. Okay, so this thing here might not be possible to modify, but it appears that detector, which I have received, that metric you're gonna see in continuation, most likely was modified, if on the first place that thing was new at all. Who knows? You're gonna see a whole bunch of things. This isn't the only stuff that you have seen in the first two videos. You're gonna see a whole bunch of other things that were also changed, modified, whatever you want to call this.
It disappeared from me. Now eBay is totally ridiculous. eBay is totally funny. I have had enormous disagreement with it. Like I suggested, the items that I have purchased, cameras, also other stuff. I have plenty of stuff like this. Whenever I request the money return, the item return, those items, many of them would disappear. They would just disappear from my summary list. But in this case, the item did not disappear. And so on the bottom we see the item that I have canceled on time, everything okay. And what eBay would do is they would push me this all the way, even though it already was cancelled, as if I have purchased one. The item on the top was the item I actually got and was stolen from me once I came up here, upstairs. And so for you to track, for you to know really what's going on eBay and stuff like this, eBay made things, PayPal made things totally impossible. I do have video recording, audio recording about very severe argument I had with PayPal in respect to their practices, in particular this electromagnetic wave EMF detector, for which I was even then suggested that it's like it was like my fault because I even called eBay, and I asked them why this thing here is listed as a purchase, basically under my eBay summary.